Peace, 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 peace. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? If you are in the building, if you're in the chat, let me know, let me know. Drop something. So, matter of fact, tell me where you are if you're in the chat room. Let me know where you are, where you're located. Okay? Shout out to everyone that is a new subscriber. I'm trying to find this video, but let's see if I could do it this way. No. Okay. I'm trying to find this video. Hold on. Let's do this. Shout out to everyone in the building, people coming in. Now that I see the likes, if you're in the building, please drop something in the chat room. Let me know you're here. Okay. The Afro is the best antenna. All right. I see some people here in the comments. Peace to y'all. All right. We're gonna get started soon. I want to play this interview by Sunrise, and then we're gonna get started. Let some people get in here. Peace, Alexis. Peace to all the new subscribers too, and the old ones. Let's turn this to the side for now. This bar is not moving anymore.
Most people feel the universe, feeling that the earth has its past, present, and future. But my music is actually reaching outwards, not being a part of the past, or the present, or the future, but rather what I call an altered destiny, because I'm dealing with equations. Most people feel the planet is doomed anyway. Advice involved in the music. Some kind of message involved in this, or some kind of advice involved in the music. Yeah, that is the message in all of my music. It's all about people doing something else other than what they have done, because what they have done is possible. And the world the way it is today is the results of the possible that they did. It's a result of the absolute thing. So now, that's something else. There's always something else in the universe as big as this. Like another type of being. It's possible. Well, it's always that the human race should do. What do you think that the human race should do now to save the planet as far as it's possible? Well, the human race has always looked for freedom and set up rules and all kinds of standards for humans. And they never passed any kind of rules or constitution for other type of beings. For instance, like if another type of being comes on the planet, then he hasn't got any rights. But I don't suppose he ever thought about it. For instance, say that there are other beings in the universe. In what country do you have that would give anybody any rights? If it's in a certain way, I have to get the feeling in a way. Yes, a lot of times I do things that people don't understand, but it's because I'm following my intuition. And my intuition will tell me, well, now do this or do that, and I do it. Sometimes it might seem ridiculous, but it always works. And I've learned a lot through doing things for intuition. It's just like sometimes nations have to do that. They might not have any hope of really succeeding in whatever they want. They follow intuition, and then nature will help them.
All right, peace, family. I cracked my screen recently, so apparently this is my first time going live since I cracked the screen. So apparently it is this ugly bar is showing up on top, and I can't get rid of it. Oh, there it is. Ha ha! See, there's no such thing as can't. Peace to the family. How's everybody doing on this great day? If you're in the building, man, hit the chat. Oh, I see some of y'all in the chat. All right, let me know what's up, where you from. Let me know how you doing. This particular conversation that we're gonna have today, I'm gonna be really looking in the chat for your questions and for your commentary overall, so that we can kind of tap in and see what's going on. What's up, Pablo? What's up, Nick? What's up, Ernestine? What's up, Alexis? What's up, Leslie? Um, Appreciate seeing y'all in the chat. Lawless Light, what's going on? Sacramento, Jacksonville. Okay, all right. I see people in the building. All right. Um, yeah, yeah. So it's episode 7, Lovecraft Country. Let's just get into it. Now, before I get into it, I want to first do two things. I want to pay homage to two of our very powerful ancestors. One ancestor is the ancestor that I just brought on the screen, Sun Ra. So just paying homage to him. And I asked for his spirit also to guide me during this conversation. And another ancestor I'm working with, Reginald F. Lewis. Reginald F. Lewis is the person that you see on the screen right now. And Reginald F. Lewis, this particular brother, is the first black billionaire in America. So C.J. Walker was not a billionaire. Madam C.J. Walker, P.B. Fuller, no one was a billionaire before this man. And this man was a billionaire in the 80s. Died shortly after through cancer, right? Mysterious. They all died from cancer. Johnny Cochran, Bob Marley, right? They all seem to mysteriously die from cancer. But he died from cancer, but he was the first black billionaire. He has a great book called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? And part of this conversation, before I even get into the Lovecraft stuff, is things like this. Now, when we're dealing with these people that have passed on, and you guys know I've been talking about ancestors lately and harnessing ancestral energy and using ancestors and creating yourself or recreating yourself through ancestry, right? You're getting the book Lost Light. Yeah, great book, great man. And recreating yourself through ancestry. And the crazy thing is, okay, Pablo, you're Reginald Lewis. Okay, Pablo, yeah, you could be all of them. That's what's up. We're gonna get into that too. And Reginald Lewis. Oh, Birdman, peace to y'all. Peace to everybody coming in the building. Um, and the thing about him is and what I was talking about with harnessing ancestral energy. There's a lot of ancestors that are in our pantheon of ancestry, meaning that there is many people that are not Malcolm Martin. There are many people that are not Elijah and Bob Marley or Haile Selassie, the Marcus Garvey, the quote unquote high profile ancestors, I like to call them, right? The ancestors that are put on a pedestal by modern society. There are other ancestors that are like Reginald Lewis that nobody is lighting candles for, that nobody is looking out for, that nobody is giving offerings to. And there are many like this that have been successful in business, that have been successful in love, that have been successful in spirituality, that have been successful in health, so forth and so on. And you are able to take on these characteristics, as Pablo is commenting, by invoking them. One of the ways in Lovecraft Country was showing by you saying the I am principle, right? But more importantly, it's about faking it till you make it, right? It's about faking it till you make it. And that's what the whole theme of the last Lovecraft Country episode was about. It was about deifying yourself and putting yourself in the mythology of what's going on. So putting yourself in the mythology itself, right? So becoming what Sun Ra would call a living myth. Now, what does it mean to be a living myth? Give me a second. Turn that down a little. Can you turn that down a little? Thank you. So, being a living myth, it means that you are utilizing the energy that you have, and you are basically aligning yourself with some sort of caricature. Could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing. Now, let's get into a little bit of Lovecraft, just for visual representations. All right. So, Lovecraft Country was really about this particular item, which is Metatron's cube. And Metatron's cube also has to do with Saturn or the rings of Saturn. And you'll see this particular cube on top of Saturn, right? So let's show you just so you know I'm not lying to you. So the same hexagon is on Saturn, okay? So this is see it right here. So it's about you tapping in to your own your own cyclical reality. And by cyclical reality, what do I mean by cyclical reality? The cyclical reality of you being the byproduct of your ancestors and you live being been here forever. Forever. You have never died and you will never die. In fact, you've never went anywhere. You've always been here even before you were born. When your mother and your father had you, your father shot off a sperm cell into your mother's womb, and that sperm cell hit your mother's egg. What no one talks about is where does the sperm cell come from? Where does the egg come from? Right? What are the sources of the sperm and the egg? The sources of the sperm and the egg are biochemical materials that already exist in your body. They're already part of who you are. So you never died and you never will die. You were never even really born. You always existed. And that's really even though Saturn deals with law and order and Saturn deals with structure and having things in how do you say in place, right? But also Saturn has rings around it. So this ring, which is similar to the ring, Saturn is also the reason that you wear wedding rings is because of Saturn. It's a representative of Saturn and you being tied down or you being in this relationship and this relationship being one of law and order, being one of building, being one of structure, which is what Saturn represents, structure, putting things together, right? This represents you going in a cyclical motion. So and I'm not going to go through, this is not necessarily a Lovecraft Country episode 7 breakdown. There's Hood Mystic does it. Shout out to Hood Mystic. Dreamwise does it. Shout out to Dreamwise. And I don't want to just, you know, regurgitate what they do. They do a great job, you know what I'm saying? Check them out for a full detailed breakdown. What I really want to go into is how you should use yourself as a myth and how that particular episode was showing that you are a myth. Now, so you never died, right? You always were here. You always existed. Before the sperm, you were a biochemical organism. You've always been here. Before you were an egg, you were a biochemical organism. So you've always been here in some shape, or form. So even if you die dust to dust, your body will go and regenerate back into the earth, and your spirit will, or the energy that is within you, that soul that burns out, your spirit will rise from the body. Once that heart starts beating, the spirit now flees the body. That breath, that inner voice that inner voice that talks without your mouth moving, that inner voice that talks without your mouth moving, that's what goes out into the heavens. Okay? So now you have a basic understanding of the cosmological person you are, of the godhood that you really are. So, being that you are part of this ring, being that you are part of this hexagram, we all know a hex is a spell, right? So, being that we are part of this hexagram, you are able to, through spells, become who and what you want to be. Okay? Become who and what you want to be. Now, in Lovecraft country, we know Hippolyta was searching for she was searching for her she was searching for her dead for what happened to her dead husband. And she wanted to know what happened with her dead husband and where he was going to go. I mean, what happened to her dead husband? Why he died? What was the reason why he died? So that was her search. And she ended up finding the comic book to show why he died. And the comic book was one that her daughter drew of Orinthia going out of space. Now, one of the things the legend Sun Ra always talked about was space being the place. And it's very interesting that he was actually in the Lovecraft country during that episode. His speech was there. This is the god Sun Ra. All right. And Sun Ra makes jazz music, but his jazz music is very high vibrational. His whole purpose was to take your spirit to outer space, or for you to look to outer space as a way of escaping humanity. Whenever he got interviewed and they called him a human, he rejected it. He did not want to be a. Hold up, let me see if I could pull this up through the tool. Because I really want y'all to really understand what he was saying. Okay, I pulled the wrong interview. This is what I was looking for. Watch this. And there's no music, so YouTube should let this rock.
What are you talking about these days?
Well, Count Basie, you might say, as opposed to just Fletcher Henson. That's the only way you had a band, so Fletcher saved us. I played the Fletcher Henson too, so you might say I'm also in his band. I played with him a year. Count Basie didn't play with him, but when Count Basie first came to Chicago didn't accept him. Fletcher Henson was playing in Grand Terrace. Count came in that Chicago. Didn't like it.
Yeah.
So Fletcher gave him his repertoire to play. And that saved Count Basie.
That saved Count Basie.
Yeah.
But your music, it's interesting. I mean, it seems to be of its own tradition. You started in the 50s, your own tradition, the heliocentric worlds. You were from outer space.
That's right. I was talking about outer space. A lot of musicians felt it was too far for people. But it's not really. They had the wrong impression about people. They underestimated their intelligence. I realized that people got feelings, and I reached towards their feelings, and not their minds, because they've been brainwashed. So I try to reach something that's brainwashed. But their spirit hasn't been brainwashed, and it's pure. Everyone I meet, I know that. I know what they're supposed to be, and I reach what they're supposed to be and what they potentially will be. I'm not worried about what they are. I'm not trying to reach that part of people. But then I've been playing my low profile because I never wanted to be a leader, you see. But I'm getting so much publicity until it's messed up my profile so badly.
You got to come up.
I just have to come out and present what I have to offer to the world.
Now, you seem to me to be a man with a mission. What's your mission today?
Well,
Now, he says, now, the question the interviewer asked is the interviewer asked him, you seem to be a man on a mission, right? Listen to what he says and listen to how he answers the question. Very important and definitely relates to the Lovecraft Country episode 7 last night and why he was featured. Those words that you heard at the end where he talking about being a living myth, this is him. So watch what he says when he talks. Watch what he says when he answers this question. Let me bring it back so you can hear the question again.
I know what they're supposed to be, and I reach what they're supposed to be and what they potentially will be. I'm not worried about what they are. I'm not trying to reach that part of people. But then I've been playing my low profile because I never wanted to be a leader, you see. But I'm getting so much publicity until it's messed up my profile so badly.
You got to come
Until I
up.
just have to come out and present what I have to offer to the world.
Now, you seem to me to be a man with a mission. What's your mission today?
Well, well, I'm really not a man, you see. I'm an angel. And if I was a
You already
man,
said.
I couldn't do anything because man always fails, you know. He's so limited. He doesn't have the right. I'm an angel. And if I was a man, I couldn't do anything because man always. Well, well, I'm really not a man, you see. I'm an angel. And
Okay. So he did not accept. This is in 1950s, 1950s, maybe 1960s. He did not accept humanity at all. He did not accept being a man at all. He refused when he asked him, "Will you?" And as this interview goes forward, you're gonna see the interviewer like look at him like this guy's crazy, but he would not accept being a man. He would not accept being called a man. He would not accept being called humanity. In fact, if you look at Sunrise's face, right, he's kind of playing with him. He's like, "Yo, I'm an angel. Like, fuck out of here with that humanity shit. You ain't gonna bait me." This is the mindset that we have to have going into all the things of our life. And that's really what that episode was about. It's about having a mindset of being a God, of being the highest form of divinity, and attaching and using the mythologies that you currently have to propel that. In Lovecraft Country episode 7, one of the key scenes was when Hippolyta was in that spaceship, right? And Hippolyta, we'll come back to this. But when Hippolyta was in that spaceship, matter of fact, before that, this is the macabre, right? So not the macabre. This is the what they call Metatron's cube, but it's basically on top of the structure, the planet of Saturn, right? But when she was in the spaceship, she met this particular deity character. This particular character is named Seraphina. They called her Seraphina based on my research. And let me see. Yeah, so Seraphina, Seraphim, an angel of the highest order, an angel of the highest order. Okay, Seraphim, an angel of the highest order. Did Sunrod not just say he was an angel? Did he not just say he was an angel? So that is the tie-in to this episode. You, black man, black woman, white man, white woman, Asian man, Asian woman, Latinx man, Latinx woman, whatever you are, whoever can hear me or the sound of my voice, you yourself are an angel of the highest order. And the main reason is you come from stardust. So you come from the cosmos. You come from outer space. And especially if you're born here and you are in a melanated body, your avatar in this lifetime is a melanated body. You are here to do great work. And the great work is healing and resurrecting yourself, first and foremost, and then building on the planet. You yourself are an angel of the highest order. This particular person was part of Hippolyta's consciousness. Seraphina was part of Hippolyta's consciousness. If you look at her, what she represents is the crown chakra. Okay. She has the purple. Purple is the color of the crown chakra. Okay. The afro represented the vibration of melatonin. representing the dark melatonin. Anything with the prefix mela means black. Melatonin, melanin, melanated, right? Means black. So that mela means black. So the melatonin has to deal with your internal darkness. The same darkness that you see when you close your eyes at night is the same darkness that is in the cosmos itself. The same darkness when you were a Christian or a Muslim, or even if you still are, when you pray and close your eyes, that is the same darkness that is in outer space. So when you declare who you are essentially declaring yourself this character. You're declaring yourself an angel of the highest order. You are tapped in to your purple crown chakra, and you are now able to create the reality that you want to create. How do you do this? The Lovecraft country in itself is a myth, right? Let's go back to Sun Ra real quick, finish the interview, and then we'll get into the myth of Lovecraft country, mythology
If
in
I was a
itself.
man, I couldn't do anything publicity until it messed up my profile, so part of people. But then I've been playing my low profile because I never wanted to be a leader, you see. But I'm getting so much publicity until it messed up my profile so badly.
You got to come
until
up.
I just have to come out and present what I have to offer to the world.
Now you seem to me to be a man with a mission. What's your mission today?
Well, well, I'm really not a man, you see. I'm an angel. And if I was a man, I couldn't do anything because man always fails, you know. He's so limited. He doesn't have the right to do things to make a better world. But angels are not up under the same code as a man. As an angel, I can do a lot of things because I think I'm a bad one. But it doesn't make no man.
Well,
Okay. So he said, if you're an angel, you're a step above man. So what is it? Now, you could say, well, that's not real, right? That's not reality. You're not really an angel, right? You don't angels don't exist. What exists is what you say exists. What you exist is what you say exists. The person that made this very cell phone, the person that made this very YouTube that we're on, it did not exist at one time. It was not a reality. Reality as we know to be something tangible that we could see, taste, touch, or smell. It wasn't a reality. The reality happened after after it first took place in the imagination. And because what they imagined to be real in that dark matter, in the dark energy of your mind, what they imagined to be real, they were able to create the cellular phone. I remember when, the watch on the phone, a lot of y'all have Apple watches, Galaxy watches, right? That was a myth at one point in time. That was a myth. That was a myth by a character named Dick Tracy. Some of y'all are younger than me, you know what I'm saying? But I remember reading this in the papers. Dick Tracy used to have a cartoon in the newspaper. This is a motherfucking smartwatch, okay? This Dick Tracy comic book was around like the 40s and 50s. Like this is an old comic strip. Maybe not this particular one because it looks updated, but the smartwatch was a myth at one point in time. It wasn't real. It wasn't something. If you told somebody, "Oh man, smartwatches are real," they would laugh at you. Or I think I could make a smartwatch. They would laugh at you. They would say that's just in the movies, right? But it's reality right now. I grew up to reading this when it wasn't a reality. I was reading this comic strip. It was not a reality. I didn't think it would ever happen. I thought it was just something somebody made up in their imagination. But this is the power of your imagination. And this is what that Lovecraft Country episode is about. When you are saying, I am, When you are saying, I am this and I am that, you are declaring that reality. Even if you talk to somebody in business, what do they always say? I read a lot of business stuff, and I'm very interested in like how business works, and in particular marketing. And they always say, fake it till you make it. Like if you don't have this, or wear a suit so you could feel like you're in business mode. Get up early even if you don't have nothing to do, so that you have that mindset, so you're prepared to take on the day early, right? These certain principles that are designed to help you get to the next level. You're creating your own reality. These are the principles that you are putting in place. But you don't even have to, sometimes you don't even have to, let's say you don't have money at one point, right? Let's say you're broke, right? But you could create the reality of abundance and feel that abundance within yourself. It's very possible. It's very possible that because you don't have money, you create an idea that hasn't been done before, but because you're so desperate, because you need money, the idea, similar to the smartwatch, right? The idea that you create now makes you a billionaire or a millionaire. Like I was watching Urban X with Black Dot, right? Shout out to Black Dot and Dot Son. I was watching Urban X on YouTube, and they were talking about how somebody bought the rights to James Earl Jones' voice. So every time James Earl Jones speaks, someone gets paid. Like every time he speaks. So when he speaks as Darth Vader, somebody gets paid. When he speaks, in Roots or whatever, Dre, okay, what I feel like the interaction between Seraphina and Hippolyta represents how the universe, hold on, I want to tap into that. Represents how the universe interacts with us. Hippolyta was in a mental prison. Once she realized she was limitless, she released herself. Yes, that is a fact. And Hippolyta was definitely in a mental prison, because Hippolyta was, and oh shit, no, let me do that. Thank you guys for all the likes too. Hippolyta was definitely in a mental prison. Good point, Drea. And the reason she was in a mental prison is because of the limits she had at the time. So the limits that she had at the time, she felt like they did not allow her to be her best self, right? But also the fact that it didn't allow her to be her best self was because of also her husband holding her back. So that is also a metaphor of people in our lives that may mean us well, that may want the best for us, but may be holding us back. Like even me going into this and coming on YouTube and sharing wisdom with you guys and things like that, and exchanging positive energy with you guys. This is something that people that I grew up with in the area that I was raised in, and the people that I know, they would consider me crazy. They'll consider, I've been doing this for quite some time. Since 1997, really, I started this journey. And there was many times with many people when people weren't talking about chakras in 1998, 1999. People weren't talking about becoming God. People weren't talking about Oshun and Obatala and all these things out in the open. It was very, very, very low key, very low key. And the reason it was low key is because if you brought it up, like if I brought up chakras with somebody I was even dating in 2001, they would have looked at me like I was crazy. They would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Raising like unblock your chakras. What the fuck are you talking about? You better unblock this money, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you talk about them chakras. So that's the big difference. So you have to surround yourself, and that's a good point, Drea. You have to surround yourself with people that are going to support you. You have to surround your people that are going to support you on this journey. And that's part of building a soul tribe. That's part of building a soul tribe. Because if you declare yourself as God, or if you say you're on a mission to create the smartwatch, right? You're on a mission to create the smartwatch. You got to have people around you that believe in you. You got to have people around you that believe the impossible is possible. You got to have people who believe the impossible is possible. For instance, myself, right? Going through this whole journey this year with the coronavirus, right? And being with someone who was scared to death, dating someone at the time that was scared to motherfucking death, right? Like the influence that that person was having on me was wavering my shit a little bit. Now, I wasn't scared or whatever because I knew what I knew and I would study on it. I did my research, whatever. So I kind of understood the causes of the corona and XYZ much earlier than a lot of people. And if you go back, you can see my videos, the corona upgrade, where I was talking about what it is and stuff like that. But I had somebody around me that was like, yo, don't go outside. Yo, don't touch this. Yo, don't do this. Yo, don't do that. Pumping fear, fear, fear in me. But because I know I'm a God and because I speak that into existence, I realized that that couldn't influence me. But I can imagine if I wasn't as seasoned as I was in the spiritual work, or someone else who wasn't seasoned in the spiritual work, how they can lead you astray. And even myself going along this journey, being around people that I cared for, being around people that I loved and loved me, sincerely, just didn't understand my mindset, just didn't understand my vision of the world, just didn't understand my perception of the world. And that's okay. What you have to realize is, and something Hippolyta even realized while she was going through her journey, is that everyone is what Hippolyta real is. Everyone has to choose their own path. Everyone has to choose their own path. What did she kept telling her? You're not in a prison. She kept telling them while Hippolyta was in the ship, she kept telling her she's not in a prison. And she said, say who you are. Say who you are. So if you feel you are God, or if you feel like you're Marcus Garvey, or if you feel like you're Francis Cress Welsing, or if you feel like you're Harriet Tubman, or if you feel like you're Malcolm X, or if you feel like you're Reginald L. Lewis, etc., 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 you are able, being that you have this vehicle of melanin, right? You have this vehicle of melanin, you are able to tap in to dark energy and dark matter. Dark energy and dark matter make up 90, I believe it's 97% of the universe. With dark matter is what holds the universe together, like holds the planets and keeps everything in alignment. And dark energy is just dark energy. It keeps everything going and flowing. So the dark energy is what you want to tap into. And the dark energy, again, is that same energy when you close your eyes to pray. It's the same energy when you close your eyes to meditate. It's the same energy that you when you close your eyes to sleep. So as Sunrise said, space is the place. But we are looking at these shows, and these shows are mythology, right? But we are using mythology to make reality. So we're using mythology to make reality. So can a child use Black Panther as inspiration? Yes. Can a child use Superman as inspiration? Yes. Can a woman use She-Ra as information? Yes. Or a princess as inspiration, but it could go the other way, right? The mythology could be shifted to where now, you know, I don't know, who can I think of that you could be looking to fucking Lil Uzi Vert. You know what I'm saying? As the myth that you tap into. You tapping into the little Uzi Vert myth, right? You tapped into the for the fucking you know, any artist that you could think of that does ratchetry. You tapped into the ugly god myth. You tapped into the mythology of the Migos, right? And this is the mythology that people are really stepping into. So yes, Pablo, that triple blackness of darkness is love. And love is empathy. And empathy is compassion. And compassion is first for yourself. First, for the fact that you were born into the world that didn't love you. You were born into the world that didn't love you. Good question, Lawless Light. How do you tap in? Well, the first step to tapping in is first declaring what you are and who you are. in ancient cultures, naming ceremonies are very important because the name would determine what you would be and who you would be. Also, when you put words together, I said this earlier in my video on Instagram. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I was talking about equations, how words are equations. So words are equations. So if I say I am Rob Blackstorm, that's an equation. That's me coming through with a particular frequency of vibration because the sounds of me saying I am Rob Blackstorm, they have energy. There's power in each letter. Each letter is a sound wave. A, B, I, M, they are all sounds that have waves. And being that they have waves, that means they are flowing. So what that means is that is living. So declaring yourself is the first step. The second step is you want to go within. You have to start going within and you have to start learning how to meditate. You have to start learning how to, I recommend meditation. I'm not even going to give y'all too many other options because if you don't meditate, like you're not really going to get to this level where you're able to tap into the full power of your dark energy. You just can't because you don't know yourself until you meditate. You don't know yourself until you go within yourself. You're not going to be able to know who you really are. And that's where your ancestors lie as well. They lie in the dark matter of space. So they lie in the dark matter of your mind. So if you constantly just do rituals, right? You have your altar, you're lighting candles, you're burning your herbs, you're taking your spirit baths, you have your crystals, you're doing mantras and all that, but you don't go within. You don't meditate. You don't take time in silence and in nature to really deep dive within yourself and see what you want to accomplish. Because the whole game, right, of tapping in or or ancestral communication or becoming one with ancestors is raising frequency. Okay, so you see these waves on her body. It's all about, and the waves crescent up to her hair. So it's all about raising frequency, raising your physical frequency so that, and making your body light enough so that you could feel external forces, so that you're sensitive enough to external forces, so that when you hear a voice in your head tell you something and give you some advice, you're able to act on it. But if you're not tapping in to yourself, then you're not going to be able to hear these voices. And the way that you make yourself a light body, basically, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make yourself a light body. You're trying to harness enough light into your body so you can manifest everything that you want and so that you could create everything that you want. And the way you make yourself a light body is by healing different regions of your chakra system, healing different regions of your chakra system, and being honest about yourself where your failings are. Like looking at yourself and being really brutally honest. I've had some days, man, sitting back and kind of beating myself up, right? But not beating myself up like telling myself negative shit, but because I wanted to be a certain person or I wanted to live a certain lifestyle, or I wanted to be a certain way and not being able to really figure it out. But over time, over repetition, over and over and over, going within, tapping in, those answers start to become clearer. You start to meet people, people start to come into your life to help you in different areas. Like right now, people are coming into my life to help me with business because that's what I'm focusing on. So I'm getting people that are coming in that are inboxing me about different things, about business and money related things, because that's what I'm focusing on. But you may be focusing on something else, right? And there's other chakras I'm also working on that I'm healing. For me to even go, for instance, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give y'all something. Little ability. Me going on Instagram, doing the videos that I've done on Instagram recently, it's probably one of the biggest challenges that I've had personally. The reason it's one of the biggest challenges that I've had, even though I know that I am a God, even though I know all great things happen to me, even though I know the universe is conspiring for my success all at all times. These are the affirmations I tell myself on a religious basis. Money comes to me easily. I do not work hard for money. These are the affirmations I tell myself. The hardest thing was me getting over the fear of being judged by other people. And that is one of the things Hippolyta was talking about when she was talking about shrinking herself from the expectations of other people. If you notice in Lovecraft Country, right, when she went into the spaceship and she said she wanted to dance with Josephine Baker. She was engaged in all type of dark shit, all type of root chakra shit, all type of things that aren't accepted by the general public. So you saw she was smoking weed, right? She was sniffing coke, right? She got the finger. She was sniffing coke. All type of things she would never that she didn't even look like she would do at all. But she did it. And once she started doing it, what she told Josephine Baker, she felt free because she was finally able to tap in to who she really was. So my conversation with myself is, am I going to do this halfway corporate America shit and halfway spiritual path, or halfway purpose and halfway corporate America? Or am I going to go balls to the wall purpose and apply what I learned in corporate America and vamp they shit that they've been teaching me and they've been brewing in my brain all these years to work for them and build their companies and build their corporate structures? Am I going to vamp that energy from these companies that I worked with, right? By recreating my mindset and channeling a different way in order to create what I want. And I made a final decision to go balls to the wall with the spiritual work. So this is what it is from here on out. This is what it is. And this is a get rich or die trying, but in this particular field. And it's not even just about getting rich, right? It's about me raising the frequency, raising the vibration on the planet, which is my which is my ultimate purpose. That's my purpose. That's my purpose. So I can't live on both sides. It's never going to work. I've never been comfortable at jobs. Never. And I've had great jobs, successful jobs. Jobs based on my background. I'm not going to get into that right now, but based on my background and based on the shit I've been through as a kid that I shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? I've always been magical without even knowing it. Real talk. I've always been magical without even knowing it. And the magic that I used to generate is through praying. This is why I never knock people that pray. And this is why you shouldn't be talking about your parents. If you knew to becoming quote unquote woke, you knew to walk in this spiritual path, leave your parents alone. Leave your parents alone. They walk that path. Now, if they're interested in what you learned and they want to, they want to learn and you want to show them things and you want to, show them this way of life and they're receptive to it, cool. But don't try to get your mom, who's been doing this for 60, 70 years, 50 years, praying to Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Your grandma, who's been doing this 70, 80 years, pray to Jesus. Don't do that. Like their brain, they've been firing and rewiring Jesus, the Bible, for years. Some of y'all grandmothers and grandfathers been through Jim Crow, and they've been relying and dependent on Jesus to get them through day-to-day operations so that they could take care of your mama and your father so your black ass could be here. Okay? Jesus is a myth, but anything that you put enough power into becomes reality. Anything that you put enough power into becomes reality. So you can you can make anything that is mythology real. Oshun is real if you feel like Oshun is real. Orser is real if you feel like Orser is real. Jesus is real if you feel like Jesus is real. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. You can't feel like one deity is fake, but now this other deity is real, and you haven't touched or seen none of them in real life. They're all a myth. And we are run by myths. America is a myth. The myth of freedom, justice, and equality, that's mythology. That's not real. There is no freedom here for real. I don't see, this is not a free society, right? Let me put put some hip hop right now on YouTube. They're gonna show me how free I am by cutting off this stream. Straight up. That's the freedom you have. They're gonna show me how free I am by cutting off the stream the minute I play some music on this YouTube. Justice. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, we can keep going. All right? There is no justice. Okay? Equality? Come on now. If you black, you know there ain't it ain't no real equality in America. Even if you have money, you still a nigga in the eyes of American society. So it's a myth. It's all a myth. America is a mythology, but that's the mythology that people believe in wholeheartedly. And guess what? That mythology has created 50 plus states that are running and in existence, all under the mythology of Jesus. In Kemet, there was mythology of Tahuti, of Osir, of Orset, of Hathor, Het Heru, of Set. Different mythologies. But this mythology that people don't believe in, or people want to say is fake, is actually running the world. So why don't you have a mythology for your own life? Why don't you have a mythology for your kids? Aren't you teaching your kids that they are gods and goddesses at early ages, and showing them through actions and things like this how they are really gods and how they are able to create. The biggest movie was Avengers Endgame, right? Avengers Endgame, and I think it was the one before Avengers Endgame. Shit, I'm drew a blank on what the movie. Oh, Infinity War. So Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, right? Two of the biggest movies on the planet. All mythology. All mythology. In the next 100 years, when they look back, just like we look back at the Greeks and they look back at the Romans and they look back at the Cometians and so forth and so on, they're going to be looking back at Marvel and studying the mythology, because mythology is also always based on reality, but it's the reality that you create. So that's what this particular angel of the highest order was all about. Also in Lovecraft country, the interesting thing was when Hippolyta came back and became what her name corresponds to, being that Hippolyta was a Amazonian warrior. And that whole scene was about black people making excuses on why they can't do this, why they can't do that, and basically saying, get the fuck up. Like, the coolest thing to be on the internet right now is a victim. Is a victim. If you're on social media and you complain about something, you're going to have a huge audience, right? If you're a woman and if you start a page today, and one of y'all could do this as an experiment, you know what I'm saying? Hide your face or whatever. Start a page on social media, boom, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Start talking bad about black men. Start talking bad about black men. Watch how your following starts to go up. Watch how your friend list will start popping on that page. Make a page talking about black women. Watch how your following goes up. Make a page talking about white people all day. Watch how your following goes up. If you're a victim in 2020, you are considered cool and you are considered popular. You know why? Because misery loves company. And there is a sense of responsibility. This is work. Like, this isn't easy. This path that we're walking isn't an easy path. A lot of people need to go back to church. A lot of y'all that's newly woke need to go right back to church. And it's no disrespect. There's nothing wrong with church. Like I said, when I prayed to Jesus, I was still manifesting things. I was still creating things. I was still putting things in my reality before I knew anything about a chakra, before I knew anything about a cult, before I knew anything about an altar. I was still manifesting things. I was still manifesting things in my reality. Because ultimately, my faith, hallelujah, my faith was so strong in my own, and now that I'm looking back, it was really faith in my own mind, but because I had a myth, I had a myth. I had a myth to lodge onto, which was Jesus. I was able to create things the same way I create things now, using Orser, Orset, Heru, Oshun, Ogun, and the different ancestors that I tap into. So creating yourself or creating your reality is a step-by-step process, and it's an up and down process. It's something that there are highs and lows that you saw Hippolyta go through in that very spaceship when she was trying to figure out where she was and who she was, and trying to figure out equations on how to get there, and using her logical mind to try to figure it out. And at one point, when she kind of surrendered using her logical mind, that's when she was able to realize that she could declare herself what she wanted to be. She could declare herself what she wanted to be. And once she declared what she wanted to be and worked for it, which is what the whole Amazon scene was about, and worked for it, because this is not, again, this path is not easy. This is not the easiest thing in the world to be is a Christian. I'll tell you that right now. You could do whatever the fuck you want. All you gotta do is go on Sunday, go to church and pray. I know many wicked people that hide behind Christianity, and they'll do the wickedest shit in the world, and you can't tell them that Jesus don't love them. You know what I'm saying? So the easiest thing in the world is to be a Christian. But this particular path, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and it's basically, when you come on this path, it's basically becoming a CEO of your life. Before this path, you were an employee. And by being an employee, meaning the media and everything else in society ran you, right? So the government ran you, school ran you, your parents ran you, trends ran you. Some still run y'all, but trends ran you. Um, I said school, society, your friends, the influence of your friends, the peer pressure ran you, right? But once you step on this path, now you run you. So what it means is, now before you make a move, before you make a decision, before you buy in, you have to research and look into and be critical on the information that you take in. You have to engage this crown chakra. You have to engage a higher level of perception. And once you engage this higher level of perception, now you're able to create new realities. Now you're able to create new mythologies. So when you tap into who you are, when you tap into this cube of who you are, when you're creating this particular reality, you could even take this image into meditation, which I have done before, and you'll be surprised at the things that come out through this very shape, this geometrical pattern, sacred geometry. You'll be surprised what comes out of this geometrical pattern. If you saw the movie Doctor Strange, even if you saw, well, let's stick to Doctor Strange. If you saw Doctor Strange when he's creating spells, right? You'll see him create different patterns. Even the one in the movie Doctor Strange, they would create different patterns that would look like this out of thin air. These are energy matrices. These are symbols that hold energy. And you've seen this in Lovecraft County episode 7 as well. Put up some images. Any questions about that episode, or any questions about anything that I'm talking about? Let's build for a little bit. And I'm going to get off of here. And please, if you're here, hit the like button. So yeah. So this particular scene, when she was tapped in. Now, when this particular thing lit up, this is what it lit up into. Okay, this is basically what it lit up into. When it lit up and she and that portal opened in episode 7, this is what it lit up into. Okay? So just so you know. And as I showed you earlier, that is that cube. That is that cube. I'm trying to see if they have anything. Anything. Aliens? You're an alien, Pablo. You're an alien. Do you know that? Do you know that you're not from this planet? Do you know that your home is really the cosmos? So you're an alien. Coming down here as a melanated being in a melanated avatar proves that you are alien. And what you want to do is to qualify that. I'm not going to go into the. I've talked about this in different videos, but you could look at the Dogon. I hate programming. I learned so much truth. Hold up. I hate programming. I learned so much truth just from generally want to know what comes to me out of the air. It's hard to program myself with the norms of men, if that makes sense to you. Correct. That makes a whole bunch of sense to me. But your cosmic origin. This is what the Nomo Dogon tribe. Okay. So the Dogon tribe, what they taught is that we came to this planet as fish. So these particular fish. So look, even says it right here. Dogon mythology says that Nomo was the first living creature. So that we came here as spirit forms into fish, and during fish we evolved from fish into man. And the first human beings were those human beings that we call the pygmy, uh, or the Twa people, right? The indigenous people. Those are the first people. The pygmies, the what we would call, I guess, the derogatory name, right? Politically correct, the midget, right? So that was the first type of man. And then, of course, as time and people went in different lands and evolved, right, according to their environments, people grew and different things like that. So the ancient cosmology and the Dogon are said to be people that were people that were from East Africa, the area of Kemet and all that, and then they transferred, and then they were transferred here. So yeah. So what I googled the numbers. Yeah, I googled those numbers that were on the thing, and this is longitude or latitude. Let me see if y'all can see it on my search because I did Google those. Yeah, if you look, I googled the numbers. Right, these are the exact coordinates that were on the ship. I paused it and googled the numbers. I didn't get anything out of it, but let's see. Now that I got y'all here, let's see if I could maybe, what I'm saying, the universe got a different idea for me. Hold up. Yeah, I didn't get anything. I didn't get anything on that, but I did get this. This is a pretty good. This article pretty much breaks down the episode. This is a very good article because it's really step by step. I mean, I actually, but I watched the episode first, but I saw this while I was doing research to come to y'all. Um, so it says on that particular thing, it says every beginning. Y'all can see this. Can you touch on what you thought about the last episode at the very end when the shaman spoke to her? Which episode? The last episode 7? I don't remember her shaman speaking to her. I don't remember a shaman speaking to her. I remember when which shaman are you talking about? Lawless Light. That Beyonce Black is King album is slept on. But that's an affirmation. That's an affirmation and a ritual act. Like if you're doing rituals, especially with this new moon coming up, and you're trying to change certain parts of your character, enhance. I highly recommend that album, Black is King. That was episode 6 with the shaman. Yeah, that's what I remember. I remember episode 6 with the shaman. Or actually, no, maybe I'm bugging. Episode shaman. Oh, the Asian girl. Okay, what do I think about the Asian girl? Okay, a good question. The Asian girl, what I think she represents, and I think she's going to also make a play. Well, she's definitely going to make a play later on in the episode because if you've been watching the series, you see that you see that she's called Tick a couple of times because she already knew and she's already sees a vision of him dying, right? So what she really is a representation of she's a representation of from my perspective, she's a representation of the inner self. She's a representation of the true self. She's a representation of the darkness within. She's a representation of what we hide from ourselves. She's also a representation of when Hippolyta was with, just to give you a visual, when Hippolyta, again, was with Josephine Baker and she was sniffing coke and smoking weed and saying she felt free. She's a representation of Tick's dark side. Because remember, Tick was bodying people just at random because he got orders to do so as a member of the military. But everything stopped and he kind of developed a conscience once he met her and he didn't know the whole story that she was actually there when he killed her best friend. So she represents the dark side or the dark feminine energy, which is the cosmos, which is when you close your eyes, which is when you go to sleep. So she represents that as well. I hope that answered your question. To me, that's from my perspective. That's what I see as far as that's concerned. But yeah, these are the coordinates. Someone's talking about the coordinates. These are the coordinates. Every beginning is in time, and every limit of extension in space. So every beginning is in time. So that's what this show was about. So every beginning is in time, and every limit of extension in space. So basically, this is saying that you could go anywhere. You can go anywhere. As Awakened I Am, that movie LX 2014. All right, I don't know. Yeah, LX 2048. I don't know what that is, but I'll check that out. What do I think about the Book of Names? What I think about the Book of Names? The Book of Names is, to me, what the Book of Names is going to be is a book where you could recreate yourself. This is just my, without seeing it. I believe the Book of Names is going to be a book where you could create yourself and become anything you want. It has all the spells, and by naming yourself a certain thing, you're basically putting a spell on yourself. Even if you think of the word, right, a common word that we use, gospel, right? Go to church, talk about preaching the gospel or singing the gospel or listen to gospel music. The word gospel, if you do the etymology, goes back to God's spell. God's spell. So whenever you listen to the gospel, you're listening to God's spell, so to speak. But which God is putting the spell on you? Which God? Is it Set? Is it Jesus? Right? Which God is putting the spell on you? Right? So that's what you want to look at. Is it somebody that's against you? Right? Is it a bad demon? Right? Or a good angel? So I think that's what the Book of Names are going to be. Do I think the Bible is will the Bible be a book of names? It could be. But let me talk about the Bible for all you that, you know, maybe demonizing the Bible. The Bible is one of the greatest magical books in existence. Like the Bible is one of the greatest magical books in existence. Like the book of Psalms itself, there's many spells in the book of Psalms. In fact, there's a book called Psalms, called Spells from Psalms, I believe it's called. Hold on, let me show y'all. Good. Robin Butler, the white lady only wanted to search certain pages of the book, and Tick said he wanted the whole book. Yes, we are the book spiritually and genetically. Yes, that is a great observation. Yeah, we are always the book, right? We're always the book. We're the Bible. We're the Quran. Those of us that are melanated, that have a history of melanated beings, we always have, always will be. We're the book. So we're always the book. But the external aspect, right, of the external book, the physical book, the tangible book, that they're using in this particular series, I believe that it's going to be a book that they need tick. They need tick, and only tick can really interpret this particular book. And I believe he's being used against, he doesn't really know, but he's being used to find the whole book for those missing pages. So he's being used to find the whole book. But yeah, that's good insight. That's good insight. That's good insight. But let me show you the book. So, Power of Psalms. There's a whole thing of spells in here. Whole thing of spells. Whole thing of spells in here for different things. Um, when you feel defeated, Psalms 87. Okay, the Lord loveth the gates of Zion more than all the dwelling of Jacob, so forth and so on. Right, and you recite. What you do is you recite this out loud over a candle, right, and you visualize your reality. You make your offerings and stuff, and you use these particular spells. You could also write these on your petitions, right? These particular psalms. They have power. All these particular words in the Bible and stuff like this, these are equations for different formulas. Every sentence that you speak, all the words that come out of your mouth, all the words that you think in the silence of your mind, these are equations and formulas. When you say something, you're creating. So when you say something, right? When you say, I am tired, what do you do after you say that? You create an image in your mind of you being tired, right? What is that image creates an impression. That impression sends neurochemicals through your body. Now your body starts to respond to you being tired. And the more you think about it, the more images you create. So these are formulas. These are formulas. This is why it's very important that you don't speak down on yourself. This is why it's very important that you use affirmations. Even if you don't feel like they're quote unquote in reality, because the energy behind the myth will make the reality real, just like the Dick Tracy phone on the wrist is now a real phone on your hand right now. Something from the 50s is now on your hand right now. That's the same process. I believe I can make a smartwatch. Now, the emotions go in your body. You probably could make a smartwatch. Neurochemicals, shit. You probably could make a smartwatch. Now, what happens? The energy in the universe from you generating this particular PowerPoint or this particular idea, it keeps coming up. You keep generating this energy. Your neurophysiology changes, your body changes, your brain goes through neuroplasticity, right? So now you are pretty much aligned. They have what you call, what's the name of that thing? Reticular activating system. Your reticular activating system. Your reticular activating system, what it does when you, in repetition, repeat certain affirmations and repeat certain affirmations, do things like work with books like this, when you write your petitions, when you are doing your scripting for your spells, the brain itself. So, what is the reticular activating? All right, this is the science. This is like super scientist science. Okay, this is a good one. So it says if you want it, you might get it. The reticular activating system explained. So I'm gonna go through this a little bit because it's something that I think we all should know. So the reticular activating system, RAS, RAS, so it's an easy way to remember it. Your RAS, right, is a bundle of nerves at our brainstem that filters out unnecessary information so important stuff gets through. The RAS is the reason you learn a new word, right? The RAS is the reason you learn a new word and then start hearing it everywhere. It's why you could tune out a crowd full of talking people. It immediately snap to attention, and someone says your name or something that at least sounds like it. So you ever been in like a place, well, pre 2020, right? Who knows if crowds are going to come back, right? But you ever been in a crowd and you hear somebody say your name, or call your name or whatever, and or even your nickname, and you're not even talking to you, but you still turn around anyway? That's your reticular activating system. So, like for instance, if I remember when I was looking for a car at one point, and I'm looking through, I wanted at the time a red Pathfinder, and all of a sudden, me looking on the internet at Pathfinders, when I went out in the street, like I started noticing red Pathfinders on the road because my reticular activating system was now showing me things so that I could acquire the things that I want. It kept repeating this vision in my head so it could become a reality for me. Plus, looks like there is a child on the way with Tick's bloodline. Yeah, that's going to be interesting with the child. Like, I really don't know what's going to happen with that. Like, I can't predict the future, but that is going to be interesting. And what's going to be interesting is the next episode with the daughter. The next episode with the daughter, because the daughter is the one that made the comic. And if you notice at the end of the particular episode, episode 7 of Lovecraft Country, she became she became she became Orinthia, who was in the comic. She became Orinthia. And this is basically the whole show. The significance of his dad being homosexual is because they have to put homosexual shit in every black show. That's what it is. That's part of the programming. That's part of the programming. That's all it is. That him being homosexual, to me, I don't see what part is going to play in this particular narrative. But the fact that all black shows have homosexuality, even Power, even motherfucking Power on Sunday had homosexuality. I have to fast forward, and it's not look before they jump on me, y'all cancel me, which I don't care. But I just want to be fair. I don't care what your sexual, what you identify with sexually, what you do sexually, X Y Z. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect my money. It doesn't affect how I take care of my children. It doesn't bother me. I don't really care if you're gay or not. You know what I'm saying? But, but actually, let me show you the video I filmed. I don't know if I'm gonna drop it, but I did film it because I watched Power, so it's funny I brought that up. And I watched Power, but yo, I was crazy. I was like, yo, what's going on? But let me show y'all this video. Hold up. Yo, what's up with all these black shows having gay characters? Like, does every black show have to have someone gay in it? And this is no disrespect to the LGBTQ community. No disrespect to y'all and your sexual proclivity, right? What you do in the dark is your business. It has nothing to do with me. But once you put it on my TV screen and I'm watching it in between some of my favorite shows and I have to see a sexual scene that has nothing to do with something that I'm interested in on every single black show, it becomes a problem. I don't watch Blackish, right? Does Blackish have someone gay in it? Like, that's the only show that has a black cast, predominant black cast, and doesn't have someone gay or lesbian in it. And again, this is no disrespect to anyone in that community. What I'm saying is there's plenty of shows created by other cultures that don't have that don't have some don't have black characters or characters of color, period, but also they don't have gay characters at all. Like, is that the doorway in order to create a show or have black creatives? Like, is the next Black Panther movie gonna have gay characters now? Like, this is like becoming, this is becoming traditional.
Traditional.
Tradition
It's becoming a tradition.
in our community,
For real.
and someone has to say something. You know, this is becoming pretty much a pattern. So we have to get down to the bottom of it, because I could see if it was happening to every show that was created by every culture. Then I could say, okay, it's just part of the trend. It's just what's going on, and maybe I'm out of touch, you know. But it's every black series, damn near. It's damn near every black series. Matter of fact, I don't know many that don't have gay characters. You can put in the comments, and I'm talking about the recent ones. You know, every show don't have to be Empire. Every show doesn't have to be. Every black show does not have to be Empire. Empire is what Empire is, and let these other shows be what they are on their own. Every show does not have to have every show. Whether you say it's black, whether you're FBA, whether you're Nubian, whether you are melanated, whatever you call yourself, American, whatever you call yourself, every show created by people that have skin that has been burnt by the sun doesn't have to have these characters.
So that was my take. Shout out, if you're in the building, please hit the like button. Shout out to y'all. So yeah. So yeah. So somebody asked that question. So that's how I feel about the gay character. It's no motherfucker. There's no. I don't see any spiritual significance. The only significance is to keep you trapped up. Now, even though Lovecraft Country is a great show, there is still programming, right? There's still programming because again, white people are only going to allow you to do so much when they're financing your shit. They're only going to allow you to do so much when they're financing your shit. Now, as far as I know, Jordan Peele didn't put the money up to do this, right? It's on HBO. And HBO, even though Watchmen and all that was dope, or whatever, the Tulsa race riots, right? But Ozymandias was still the man in Watchmen. Even though Dr. Manhattan had all the powers and all that, Ozymandias was still the nigga we're in the eye of Heru, right? At the end of the day, he was still the person that was making everything happen. So HBO, don't always trust HBO's narratives, and that's all I'll say. Because a lot of times during the narrative, even the last episode, with Letty's sister, what happened when she took the potion, she got that white skin. Who was the first person that she went after? The first person that she went after when she became white was the other black person in the store. She didn't say nothing. She didn't really go after white people at all. She went after the black person that she wanted the job for in the store. You understand? So that's what that's about. But yeah, Drea, yeah, they're and sexuality is private, exactly. Like, yo, do what you want to do behind closed doors. I don't care. Like that's not my thing, but I don't care what you do. That's you. Do what you do. But once it comes on my screen and I'm watching a show, I watched when I filmed that video that I showed y'all literally right after the scene. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like I said that out. I was like, what the fuck, yo? I said that shit out loud. And I had to fast forward. Cause I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, why? Like, this ain't Empire. So, and then I'm like, yo, okay, Power was the only show that I saw that didn't have gay characters, and I was like, yo, what's going on? So it's obviously a program, right? They're obviously running a program. They're obviously trying to influence the next generation, and primarily because most of these black characters, homosexual characters, are men. No disrespect to homosexuals, but they're trying to feminize our men. They're trying to feminize our men, because we are the warrior class. Men have the bone density. And I know there's Amazons and all that, Hippolyta and all that. But at the end of the day, men are the ones built for war physically. All right? Men are the ones built for war physically. So that's the part of the agenda. But I want to get into what Sunrise said. Hold on. And then we'll close out with him. Yeah, Lawless. Right. The Wire. Exactly. I'm like, damn, he playing gay again. Like Omar, that was his way in. That was, I guess that was his way into the industry. Because if you notice, he blew up after he played Omar on the Wire, Lawless Light, and played that character. But then, but then after he played the character, he's in this now gay. I'm like, God damn, bro. HBO, you let HBO do this to you twice? I mean, I guess he needed to check or whatever, but I mean, he did it once. I guess it's nothing to do it again. But I'm like, God damn, bro. Twice? Like, I get it. You wanted to get in, and that was maybe back in the day, but now you got star power. You could refuse that shit. But who knows? Who knows what's going on behind closed doors with that situation with him? Facts. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But let's see. So that's right, Nick. Yep. They want, yep, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, the agenda is, yeah, the kingship. They see that black is king is happening. I mean, this is I think Blue Pill was saying this before. This is a black year. You know what I'm saying? Black is king. We got the corona, which is dealing with the sun. We know the sun is the black man. You know, we're dealing with Black Lives Matter, right? We're dealing with um overcoming, the biggest and the best conversations that are happening right now. There are three conversations that are happening right now that were very important. The first conversation is the conversation that Joe Button is having about ownership. Joe Button's conversation about ownership, highly important. If you haven't heard it, go to my Instagram page. It's there somewhere where he talks about ownership. Very important. Most important conversation. The second conversation is what Kanye's talking about, the music industry and owning masters. Because hip hop runs the world. Hip hop is the most powerful music and the most popular music on the entire globe. So if hip hop, excuse me, if hip hop runs the world and black people create hip hop, then guess who runs the world? The mythology. That's mythology that we need to really tap into. That's mythology that we really need to tap into. Because we really run the world. It's the only difference is we have to figure out how to script our messages and put medicine in the candy. Nipsey, correct. Yep. Yeah. Chadwick Boseman did not do any gay or slave stuff. Yeah, not that I know of. He did play characters though that were kind of neutered. You know what I'm saying? He played a lot of our black characters, our black ancestors, but they were kind of neutered and presented in a whitewashed way. I'll say that about Chad Boseman. A lot of the characters from Marshall to who did he play? James Brown, washed and very white savior friendly. If you noticed in Chad Boseman's movie, only one that wasn't. Well, he had a couple, but of course Black Panther. I think 21 Bridges and stuff like that, right? So, um, so yeah, if hip hop runs the world, we run the world. Nipsey, Pac, all these people are luminaries all over the world. Even Griselda, I don't know if y'all guys, some of y'all guys probably listen to Griselda and stuff like that, Griselda Records. Even them dudes who are super underground rappers, they have murals all over the world. And they like talk about the hardest shit, like shooting your mom and, you know, and hitting your baby in the foot with a bullet. And they have murals all across the world. All across the world. Tupac has murals all across the world. Biggie has murals all across the world, right? Some of our artists are like way more popular than we think that are here in the United States. So if hip hop runs the world, we run the world. We just have to harness hip hop and use the mythology of hip hop. And that's something KRS One was actually trying to do with this hip hop Bible, but kind of went left. And KRS-One is not really popular enough. He wasn't popular enough when he dropped the Bible to make that mythology actually stick, right? But that is how you use mythology to your ends. The same way the Jews used the Torah and used Moses. I see Jews here in New York, right? And this is no disrespect to the Jews, but I see Jews here in New York smoking Newports. You know what I'm saying? I seen a Jew in the park, Central Park, the other day, smoking a joint. That's whole garb, small hat, and all that. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? When it comes time to buy apartment buildings and buy houses, they are all linked together. When right now they are celebrating, well, yesterday they celebrated Yom Kippur. Okay, so oh, y'all got some questions. Hold up. So do you believe the purpose of releasing Lovecraft Country is beneficial to us? Well, I trust Jordan Peele, right? I trust Jordan Peele from Get Out and the other movie. I forgot the name of the other movie. Get Out, and the other movie that he dropped with the family. Us. So I trust Jordan Peele from Get Out and Us. So I do think that he has good intentions. I do think that he wants the best for Black people, and I do think he wants to see us in a good light. But I also know it's not just his show. It's his show and J.J. Abrams. They're the two big front runners in the show. And I know J.J. Abrams had something to do with the recent Star Wars, where they had another Black character that was kind of marginalized, marginalized in Star Wars. If you look at how John Boyega, the character John Boyega played in Star Wars, he was weak, he was scary, right? He wasn't tough. And of course, at the end, he became tougher and stronger, etc. But he was still neutered. So yeah, so and on some angles, yes, they're going to give you stuff like episode 7, I believe episode 7 was very, very empowering. It's an empowering episode. That I am thing, like before any of your affirmations, you should always say I am. Like never say I'm going to, never say I'm going to get, never say it's coming. I am. It's in the now. It's in the now because you are limitless. You are beyond time. You are part of the cosmos. You've always been here and always will be. Okay. So you're not, you never die. Even if you go into the grave and your body decomposes, your spirit still lives on. Your energy signature, the unique energy signature that you have lives on. Okay. So, so do I think it's beneficial for us? In some ways, yes. In some ways, not. Like I said, the last episode where his sister was, when she became Black, she started going after the other Black, when she the sister, lady's sister, when she became white, I'm sorry, and she went after the other sister in the department store. Like that's programming as well. Why, when you have white skin, the only person you going after is Black people? You know what I'm saying? So, and there's different things, and who knows how this show is going to play out and what it's going to turn out in the end. There's already programming it with the gay characters, right? So there's already some sort of programming in it with the gay characters. And watch, like I said in that other video, watch the next Black Panther. They're gonna have more gay. They're gonna have gay characters in the new one. I guarantee you. Guarantee you. Like I said, it's becoming traditional. So in some ways, yes, you could gain, and that's anything in life. You know what I'm saying? Anything in life. I look at everything and all information as trees. So I don't agree. I'm going to use one person as an example. So I don't agree with everything Farrakhan says, right? But there are things that I do agree with that he says. So I will listen to a Farrakhan speech and I'll take what applies to me, and what doesn't apply, leave to the side. He's a tree. We're all trees. We're all trees. I'll get into that probably in another video. But all of us bear fruit in some way, shape, or form. Some of that fruit is rotten to the core. When you look at the tree of people, you can see rotten fruit. You can see a rotting tree when you look at people. And you can look at people and see fruit that are abundant, that look healthy, that look like it's something that you could digest, that you could take in. And so it's the same thing with this. Good question. Please hit that like button if you're here. I saw some other questions. Let me see. And the Jews use the melanated community. Yeah. Well, let me show y'all something on my Instagram from the homie Adika Butler. Hold on. Shout out to all y'all who follow me on Instagram too. Shout out to all y'all who follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna go back on Facebook soon, but I'm just gonna be using my Rob Blackstone page. So I'll probably make an announcement this week, and we'll be doing some stuff in that group, having some group. But I'll make an announcement as the week goes on when I start to talk about the full moon and stuff like that. That's coming up on the 1st. Yeah, but watch this if you haven't watched it already.
I want you guys to see what's going on and just listen to the screams of these animals. This is happening on public streets in Brooklyn. Public streets, there's people.
Actually,
I want you guys.
before I show you this, let me show you Adika's, and shout out to Adika Butler. Somebody said what my Instagram is. My Instagram is Rob_Blackstorm. So Rob_Blackstorm. Simple. Rob_Blackstorm. So he says in this, and this is a great post. He says, Happy Kapparot. So Kapparot is a Jewish holiday, right? Yom Kippur was just yesterday. Kapparot was Sunday. So he says, some of us insist on buying the ghetto chicken packed in the hood supermarket. You know what I'm talking about. The cheap chicken, the yellow styrofoam with the saran wrap and the hood supermarket logo on it. So here in New York, he's talking about like Seatown and what's the other one? Shit. Seatown and there's another one that's pretty popular. I forget the name right now. But so what he says is, I wouldn't buy any of that chicken for the rest of the year if I were you. If you were me, you would not buy it at all. A lot of us consistently get sick and go broke during this time of the year without considering the effects of our own choices. Life is constantly offering us divination readings by way of natural synchronicity if we pay attention. Food items are tools of magic and sorcery. You have three brains. Your stomach is one of them. Okay? So he's talking about the chicken that's packaged in the hood supermarket, right? A lot of us black people, we eat chicken, but check on our table. And why you might want to think twice about where you're getting your chicken from, where you're buying it from. And you might want to spend a couple of $2 to get it at a Whole Foods or someplace healthy. So check this out.
To see what's going on and just listen to the screams of these animals. This is happening on public streets in Brooklyn. Public streets, there's feces all over the place. I know. Total animal cruelty. Now they're trying to block from you guys seeing what's actually going on. But I'll show you right now the ritual that they do. They think they're transferring their sins onto these poor little innocent chickens. And they cover themselves with plastic so that the chickens don't shit on them.
So you see, that's a cult. That's a cult. That's magic, right? That's occult science. She said that what they're doing is they're taking the chicken and they're rubbing the chicken around themselves and absorbing the negative energy. One thing you could do for yourself, you don't necessarily have to have a live chicken. You could do the same thing with an egg. You could rub that egg all over yourself, right? Rub that egg all over yourself and take away negative energy. So what this community is doing is basically stealing your melanated birthright, right? By tapping in and taking your magic and taking your science and using it. And I can't even say taking it, right? Because we have allowed other cultures to use our practices and traditions, and we have not implemented our own practices and traditions or copied their own practices and traditions. Now, I know there are black Jews and things like that, right? But we need to start having these traditions ourselves, right? But again, if you want to get rid of negative energy, one of the spells you could do is you get an egg, rub that egg all over yourself, right? That egg, though, you don't eat it and shit like that. What you do is you throw it in the sewer, right? You could even crack it, throw it in the toilet, but you want to throw it far away from yourself where you're not going to be able to see it again, where it's not going to be in your circumference where you won't walk by it because it's negative energy. So you want to get rid of it, get it out your sight for circumference. But this is what they're doing. They're taking these particular chickens, doing ritual, ripping the wings out, rubbing it all over themselves to take away negative energy, to take away hexes, to take away sins, and eventually it's going to go on your supermarket packaging and on your plate.
They think that they're transferring their sins when they can just as well use coins. It's quite simple. I'm Jewish as well, and this is an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment, actually. This is not Zar Belachayim. This is not animal cruelty. This is my dog, and she's very well taken care of. These chickens are screaming in pain. They're having their wings ripped from their bodies. Children that don't know how to handle livestock and handle animals
See the shit?
are actually carrying birds around and ripping their wings from their bodies.
You see this shit?
It is absolutely and utterly insane, guys. This is 2020, and we are literally witnessing people swinging chickens over their head. And he wants a picture ripping the wings. Look how much pain these animals are in. Why don't you have any love in your heart? Because I love my dog. I'm not carrying her. Can you hold them properly? Zar Belachayim, please. And they're here calling us assholes. Basically, I don't even know. Jordan and I are here filming this. I'm just on live right now.
All right. So I want to show y'all that something one of y'all said sparked that. But yeah, so, and if you notice the small hats, they always wear all black. They always wear all black. And yes, Nick Yoda, you are right. The same rituals take place in Ifa, Voodoo, and Santeria. The same exact ritual. I've seen that same ritual done in a voodoo ceremony. Exact same ritual with the chicken. Exact to the T. Maybe a little bit extra. I'm not going to go into that here, but there's a little bit extra. But yeah, pretty much the same ritual. So you are correct. That is a fact. If you're here, please hit the like button. And yeah, hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed. What else? So what else? I think y'all had some more questions. I'm gonna close out at the two-hour mark. Y'all had some pretty good questions this time. Well, I shouldn't say this time. Hold on. So what blue moon? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So what blue moon? I know there's a blue moon on Halloween. There's a blue moon on a Halloween, and it's a full moon, and it's a Saturday. Powerful energy this Halloween. Okay, so I want to read this. This is what Sunrise said. Then y'all don't have any more questions about the episode or about the series itself, I'll close. But if you do have questions, keep typing them. It says, this is just the Hippolyta story. Thank you, Lisa. I heard that. Thank you, though. I appreciate that very, very much. I'm glad I am soothing you at this moment. That's a great thing. All right, so says Hippolyta shouts her answer. No, see, let me go. I just want to go kind of into the Hippolyta story when she goes to where she goes. All right, so I'm just going to read this. Most of you already saw this. It says, in her new environment, Hippolyta sees a strange glowing structure. A bright light shines on her and two robots approach. Sometime later, she wakes up naked in a white alien-looking room. Some type of technology has been implanted in her wrist. When you see the technology that's been implanted in her wrist, they are purple. And purple, of course, is representing to the crown chakra, and it is about you going crown chakra. And the reason they were on her wrist, based on my interpretation, yes, it'll be up, Mrs. B. It'll be up later. Based on my interpretation, the reason it's on her hands is to show that she has to work through these problems, right? She has to work through these issues. She has to work through knowing who she is. So it's not just her head. The head or the third eye or the opening of the pineal gland or the radiance of the crown chakra, that purple, was represented by Seraphina or the seraphim or the highest angel, right? So love from Canada. Oh, that's what's up. Peace, Mrs. B. Okay, I got a couple. Yeah, that's what's up. I got a couple of Canadians who follow me. I have a Canadian that took one of my elemental, one of my students actually. So shout out to Canada. Shout out to Canada. I seen y'all coming through too on the comments on some of my other videos. So shout out to Canada. Yes, Pablo. Arm, leg, arm, head. Allah for fact, like a motherfucker. All right. So in a new environment, Hippolyta, brother from another planet. Okay, I'll check it out. Oh, another movie y'all need to watch is K-Pax. I'm gonna get into some K-Pax at the end of this too. After I close this out. In her new environment, Hippolyta sees a strange glowing star. And y'all keep the questions going. A bright light shines on her and two robots approach. Sometimes she wakes up naked in a white alien-looking room. Technology has been planted in her wrist. She dressed in a gray jumpsuit before a robot with the human head of a black woman with a huge afro. That's Seraphina, or the seraphim, or the high angel. Hippolyta asks who she is, and the being simply says, "I am." So what she was telling her, and this is it right here. Hippolyta asks who she is, and she simply as "I am." So she was telling her that she is I am that I am. Basically, she is God. The book by the rich billionaire is the movie about the book by the billionaire is Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? And the brother's name is Reginald, the author, and the brother, his name is Reginald L. Lewis. Reginald L. Lewis. Yes, there are two full moon in October. Do you think they will bring back Tick's real father back to life? Possibly, possibly. I believe he's old. Well, I believe the father is the Auxerre character. So I don't know if he'll ever really come back to life, but I know as Auxerre, he's always going to play a role. He's always going to be, whenever they go into outer space or inner space, because inner space is outer space. Inner space is outer space. Inner space is the cosmos. The visible, the visible is minor compared to the invisible. Because, let's go into that real quick. The visible world is more powerful. That's not what I'm looking for. But I'll just tell you. I'll just tell you. The visible world, and you can look this up. I think we see less than 1% of all the visible light in the universe. Less than 1% of all the visible light in the universe. So 99 point something of the universe we do not see. This is with telescopes. This is with radio, things that detect radio frequencies. All those, any type of technology you would think of. We still see less than 1% of visible light in the universe. So the darkest, the cosmos that is within you, the cosmos that is out there, that you think you're separate from, you are not separate from. And once you tap into this, that's why I highly always recommend meditation, even if you're doing ritual, because you have to know who you are and you have to tap into that darkness within self. You could do it through ritual and you could do it with crystals and stuff like that, but nothing beats man knowing thyself. And that's how you really tap in. And the more you meditate, also, it puts you more in the now. When you're in the now and not thinking about the past and not thinking about the future, you're basically connected to infinity. You're connected to infinity. You're connected to the all. Now you become timeless. And the more you meditate, the more you're able to connect to that state where you're in the now. And then the downloads start to rush in even more, and you're able to make different moves and put yourself in different positions and create new realities and manifest different things. And the way you start to know that you're manifesting, the way you start to know you're on the right track on this is there's two things. Your dreams will tell you What happens in your dreams will tell you if you're on the right track. And the second thing is you start to see synchronicities. You start to see, hey, Teresa, all right, shout out to Texas. I used to live in Houston. And you start to see synchronicities. Okay. The black mamba energy. Yeah, that's Kundalini energy. All right. The cobra that is rising up the spine. All right. That's Kundalini energy. And that is you channeling you channeling vibrations through your chakra. Some people chant Om, some people have different mantras, some people just say affirmations. Whatever is going to cause that energy to rise, that cerebral spinal fluid to rise through your spine and effectively wash or decalcify your pineal gland. Also, if you're still brushing your teeth with fluoridated toothpaste, stop it today. No more fluoride. No more motherfucking fluoride. Fluoride is not for gods. In fact, fluoride is motherfucking kryptonite. Fluoride in your toothpaste is kryptonite. And this is something we've been talking about since the 90s. The 90s. Fluoride is kryptonite in your toothpaste. It's kryptonite. What fluoride does is it lowers the rate of your brain waves. It lowers your ability to think in a sense, and it fucks with your body, your ability to heal. I mean, just Google fluoride, and there's all sorts of negative effects to you brushing your teeth. And remember, your teeth are also connected to your heart. Your teeth and your heart are connected. Deep science. Your teeth and your heart are connected. So if your teeth start to get fucked up, also you want to check, make sure your heart is right, because they go together. They're one and the same. So Black woman, Hippolyta, simply the being, says simply who I am. Hippolyta demands her freedom, but the robot insists this is not a prison, before leaving and letting the doors close behind her. Hippolyta tries to use what she knows about science. See, she starts to go into logic to try to get out. Science, sustainability, gravity, and atmosphere to figure out where she's been taken. But she hasn't really been taken anywhere but into inner space. Into inner space. Hippolyta figures out how to open the door and tries to escape the robotic being, but the robotic being stops her and asks her where she is, and she is not in the prison. She asks where Hippolyta wants to be and who she wants to be. I want to be dancing on stage in Paris with Josephine Baker. All right. And quick. So Josephine teaches her the steps to the dance and tells her she's got to loosen up. So that loosen up was her embracing her dark side, all right? Not being so stiff, not being put in this box that society has put her in. Not, and we all have these boxes that society puts us in. Myself, I'm 6'3", about 240, I have a certain look. You guys see me. I obviously have a certain look. People don't think I'm into this type of stuff. People don't think I'm into spirituality and I'm into, the occult, and I'm into these type of things when they see me. It's either the first response I either get is fear, or just respect initially, because of my stature and things like that. Right. But that's even putting me in a box. When people perceive me, they put me in a box immediately. And a lot of times it used to be my goal is to shatter the box. I don't care. But, sometimes you want people to, you want to shatter the box. You don't want people to put you in a certain box. But now I use the box to my advantage. You think I'm just a big, dumb thug? No problem. I'll operate that way and use you and play dumb so that you think you're going to play me, but I'm really going to play you. That's how you reverse the energy, right? And that's how you step out of the box. But basically, like you said, he was telling her to loosen up. So basically, blah, 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 blah. So she says, now that tasting it, when she's talking to Josephine Baker, now that she's taking it, yeah, shout out to Mastery Foolish. That's the legend. He put me on to a lot of y'all that's here. So shout out to Mastery Foolish, man. Mastery Foolish is a motherfucking legend, man. If I meet that dude, man, I gotta buy him a couple of drinks or something. Or shit, whatever you want, some kale or some shit. Right. Anyway, so she says, now that tasting that freedom, like I never knew before, I see what I was robbed of back there. All those years I thought I had everything I ever wanted, to come here and discover that all I ever wanted was the exact kind of Negro woman white folks wanted me to be. So in your life, are you being yourself, or are you being what someone else wants you to be? Are you caught up in Biden and Trump? Are you caught up in the Breonna Taylor? Are you caught up every cop shooting? You're getting sad and you're getting stressed and you're getting distressed. Are you caught up in the affairs of this world so much that the words of Hippolyta is coming true in your life? I feel like they just found a smart way to lynch me without noticing the noose. Do you know every time you grieve over a black person getting shot, you are letting go or releasing a neurochemical in your body called cortisol that is essentially poisoning you. Cortisol is poison. The more and more you engage in cortisol. Now, cortisol is effective if there is an immediate threat. Let's say, um, a fucking car just runs through my apartment right now. Cortisol is gonna make me dip and move so I don't get hit by the car. But if I'm getting cortisol for every person that's not in my family that gets shot, every person that I don't know that gets shot by the police, every person that is a victim of police brutality that looks like me, and if I get caught up in this to the point where I'm starting to feel sad about it on a repetitive basis, then guess what? I am poisoning myself. So it's a smart way to lynch you without noticing the noose. Okay? The more you engage in stress, you think it's entertainment. You think the drama is entertainment. When your favorite YouTuber is beefing with another favorite YouTuber over philosophy, arguing and battling and yelling over each other, you're inducing stress into your own body, and you're doing it voluntarily. That is you being the I am. That is you being the I am as well. And I'm going to say something that may offend you, even though I dropped the video about how to get justice for Breonna Taylor, because there is a way if you really are so gung-ho about getting justice for her, getting, justice for anybody, how to tap in. But in reality, there's so many people, so many neighbors that we don't give a fuck about as black people in real life. Like neighbors, people who live right next to us that we don't give a fuck about. Sometimes we don't even say hi. But the media will make you believe in a stranger that you don't know, that you've never met, that you have no engagement with, that has got paid millions to shut the fuck up. Let's call it what it is, a settlement. They got paid millions to shut the fuck up. But we will go hard for them, and we will feel sad for them, and we will put ourselves in this weakened state. You've seen it. You've seen the memes. I'm sorry, Breonna. I'm sorry, Breonna. Why are you sorry? You didn't do nothing. Why are you taking on that guilt? You didn't do shit. It's not your job to make sure she gets justice. Not that way. Not through the legal system. You expect your masters, the people that used to tar and feather and hang your ancestors, to really want to give you justice, to really want to see you win so you can feel better? No. The game is to make you feel as bad as possible, as consistent as possible as well. And they're going to do the same thing. They're going to have a George Floyd trial, and probably the same shit's going to happen. And then y'all going to be back in y'all feelings again. Smart ways to lynch you without noticing the noose. If I'm wrong, y'all can comment. I'm not above criticism, but what I'm saying makes sense. I know it does. She admits that sometimes she just wants to kill white folks, and she hates herself for letting them make her feel small. So, Miss Hippolyta, what are you going to do with all that anger? What are you going to do with all this anger you have about what's happening? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you are you transferring? Are you working your ritual for real? Like I was saying on the Mastery Foolish video? Are you getting active, or are you being reactive? Everybody in the world is being reactive to shit nowadays. It's so crazy. Blackout Tuesday. Why nobody had a blackout Tuesday when the Breonna Taylor verdict happened? Why there wasn't no blackout day after that? You know why? Because white people didn't tell you you could have a blackout day. Because influencers didn't tell niggas they could have a blackout day. Smart ways to lynch you without noticing the motherfucking noose. What are you going to do with all that anger? All right? Hippolyta shouts the answer. She declares who she is. I am Hippolyta. When she declares who she is, she goes back into her ancestry. But she doesn't go back to her ancestry and she's automatically a great warrior. She has to train. She has to master sword fighting. This is you doing your daily spiritual work. The first 15 minutes of your day are the most important parts of your day. And the last 15 minutes of your day are the most important parts of your day, or last 15 minutes of your night, rather. That's when your brain is in a theta state, and that's when your brain is the most programmable. A lot of y'all still fall asleep with the TV on some bullshit. If you're gonna fall asleep with the TV on, put it on some YouTube, on some Mastery Foolish, or put it on some YouTube or some Bobby Hemmett or Brother Panic or Rob Blackstorm or Hood Mystic or Dreamwise, if you're gonna fall asleep on something. So at least while you're sleeping and you're traveling through inner space, astral traveling through inner space, which is really outer space, now you know, you are able to utilize that time when your body is at rest, but your mind is at its most expansive to recreate yourself and reprogram yourself. But honestly, you shouldn't fall asleep with the TV on anyway because of the light. And once you have light playing in the background, right? Once you have light playing in the background, it kind of disturbs your REM sleep. So you don't get the best sleep that you could get. But I know some people are conditioned to doing that. So until you break that conditioning, make sure if you fall asleep, you're not listening to fucking commercials all night on TV or fucking bullshit commercials that's on YouTube. Set up a playlist. Or you could do a dark screen. Anyway, I'm going too far. But yeah, I know what I'm trying to say. So eventually this training so she masters sword fighting. So this is something that you have to go through, this warrior upgrade, this fight, this determination. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you're up. You're going to have days where you're down. But what's going to sustain you is the consistent work that you've done. So when you do feel down and you're not in the mood, you'll always go back. Or when something hard happens and it throws you off course, you always have a cushion, so to speak. You have your principles to rely on. You have your mythology to lean in on. Your own mythology. Now, it's not Jesus that the white man gave you. But guess what? If you want to use Jesus, you can. Just make him black. Just make him black. And a lot of times, the reasons y'all hate the Bible and the reasons y'all hate church and the reasons y'all still hate Christianity, I have no hate for Christianity at all, or Christians, or Muslims, or whatever you are. Be what you are. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. But let me tell you something. If you are going to use Jesus, make sure he's black. You make sure the mythology that you use is a black Jesus. And that's really something that you want to do anyway. You want to program your mind over and over and over and over and over to see Jesus as black. And the reason you want to see Jesus as black, because now when I think about Jesus, I don't think about a white man anymore. It's been so many years that I've done this that I don't even think about it. When I think about Jesus, it's already automatically a black man with dreads. I could see him with the robe on and being black with dreads. That's my picture of Jesus. I've conditioned my mind through meditation over the years to no longer see Jesus as a white man. So now I could put Jesus as part of my myth. I could read the Bible with no problem because I understand Jesus had skin of bronze and hair of wool. So I know even if it's a myth, the reality of the power of that mythology and the power that is behind Jesus is an energy source. So I could still tap into that mythology and create a reality around that mythology. Just like Hippolyta, right? Hippolyta went back into her past and found out she was an Amazon. But what if being an Amazon is a myth? what if that never really happened? Somebody just wrote that in a book. I'm not saying Amazons didn't exist, but what if they didn't? She still was able to use that mythology of being an Amazonian to heal herself. Okay. And of course, she, kills Confederate soldiers. And, she has a woman empowerment speech. Basically, we are here because we did not believe them when they told us our rage was not ladylike. We did not believe them when they said our violence goes too far. We did not believe them when they said the hatred that we feel for our enemies is not godlike. And that's still something, that particular line, we did not believe them when they said the hatred that we feel for our enemies is not godlike. That particular line is something that is very consistent in Black psychology, where whenever we are about to, for the lack of a better word, wild out or fight or fuck shit up, or even with the even with the George Floyd situation, right? Or when Amar Arbery got shot. Is it Amar Arbery? Well, the last one that got shot, the dude that's still alive, and all the sports teams protested or whatever. They always try to say that this is not the way, or they'll ask